Hello everyone. Welcome to another Life Talk with Candace video. Back for the first time and by popular demand by Ravens fans, I'm here to talk to you today about the Baltimore Ravens. Now, first, hold on a second. Something's a little weird here. I ain't gonna do you guys like that. That seems more appropriate. Now let's get to it. Now keep in mind that this video is by popular request by Ravens fans. If you would like to see your team on a feature of Life Talk with Candace, just put a comment below. Make sure you hit the like button and make sure you subscribe so you'll know when I talk about your team. The Baltimore Ravens actually have connections with 3 NFL cities, including Baltimore. The other 2 are the Indianapolis Colts and the Cleveland Browns. A lot of people jokingly say that the Ravens are the old Browns, but in a way that's true, but in a way, yeah, it's kind of true. But the history of the Baltimore Ravens goes back way to the 1950s. In 1953, Baltimore's football team was actually named the Colts. The Colts' history actually goes back beyond 1953 and the All-American Football Conference, but for this video, we'll just stick with 1953 to now. The team was actually named the Colts due to Baltimore's rich history in horse racing and breeding. For those who don't know, the Preakness Stakes are held right in the heart of Baltimore, and it's a premier thoroughbred horse racing event. The Colts actually won their first NFL championship back in 1958 with Pittsburgh native Johnny Unitas. This is widely known as the greatest game ever played due to its epic conclusion. The Colts went on to win another NFL championship, and then they went on to lose the first NFL Super Bowl to the Jets. They won another Super Bowl in 1970. As you can see, the Colts were a competitive football franchise and beloved by their city. Their home games were played at the Monumental City, which then went on to be called Municipal Stadium, which then went on to be called Memorial Stadium. They temporarily shared Memorial Stadium with the Baltimore Orioles. Now this is where things get a little funky with new owner Bob Irsay, or Robert Irsay, and the Baltimore Colts. Bob Irsay didn't take over the Baltimore Colts until 1972, so it was clear that he didn't have the same relationship with the city that the city had with the Baltimore Colts. In 1984, Bob Irsay moved the Baltimore Colts in the dead of the night. In the dead of the night? Well, yep, they did it with the assistance of Mayflower Transit. This is insane. The reason Irsay did this was because the city of Baltimore was unwilling to replace Memorial Stadium or even upgrade it. The Maryland General Assembly was on the verge of passing legislation to seize the team via eminent domain. Phoenix, as well as Indianapolis, bid to be the city that the Colts relocated to. Eventually, Phoenix dropped their bid and Indianapolis became the city. Indy was on a mission to reinvent itself as a great American city, so luring an NFL team would be a great part of that effort. So, on the morning of March 29, 1984, the fans in the city of Baltimore wake up with no football team and are full of heartbreak. Irsay took the team, the equipment, and obviously the name with him over to Indianapolis. So next time you see the Colts play a football game in Baltimore, take a look at the scoreboard if you can. They don't even call them the Colts. They just call them Indy. And I can see why. In the early 1990s, Baltimore made several attempts to bring a football team back to the city. They were passed over as expansion teams, as Charlotte got the Panthers and Jacksonville got the Jaguars. At that time, Art Modell was the owner of the Cleveland Browns. Modell and the Cleveland Browns were financially struggling and at odds over, get this, stadium renovations. What's crazy is Baltimore gained its franchise in 1996 by the same way that they lost their franchise back in 1984. In 1996, Modell and the city of Cleveland reached a settlement allowing him to take the Cleveland Browns to Baltimore, barring one thing: the name, colors, and uniform design had to stay in Cleveland. The team name Raven was inspired by Edgar Allan Poe's poem, The Raven. It was chosen from a fan contest, and their mascot's name is actually Poe, after Edgar Allan Poe. So now you know. Fans in the city of Baltimore also liked Ravens because it linked them to their baseball team, the Baltimore Orioles. The Baltimore Ravens went on to win numerous division titles and 2 Super Bowls since 1996. 2 Super Bowls? That's more than the Rams, the Seahawks, the Eagles, the Bears, the Jets, the Bucks, the Saints, the Vikings, the Bills, the Bengals, the Panthers, the Falcons, the Chargers, the Titans/Oilers, the Cardinals, the Browns, the Lions, the Texans, and the Jaguars. Now you see why the people of Baltimore absolutely love their Ravens. They also have a great history of players, starting with last year's MVP, Lamar Jackson. Speaking of great players, let's take a look at some of the great players throughout the history of the Baltimore Ravens. Now, the question is, will Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens be able to bring the city back to the promised land? The fans sure hope so. That's the end of the video on how the Baltimore Ravens got here. Tell me what you think. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you want to see your sports team covered by Life Talk with Candace, comment below, hit the like button, and hit the subscribe button. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.